Imagination is the act or power of forming a mental picture of something which is not present, and especially of something one has not experienced. It is a creation of the mind. Through imagination, mankind stopped being hunter-gatherers and started growing their own food. They achieved the ability to fly, and some individuals, by sheer force of will, were able to rise above the stations life placed them in. All of this occurred because they dared to imagine things being different. In our current age, mankind's imagination has made it so that we can experience whole new worlds from the comfort of our homes through the medium of games. I've never been much of a gamer myself, but I do have a few I have played. The criteria for a game to be a part of this discussion is it has to have been a medium for me to stretch my imagination. Now, with the intro out of the way, let's begin. I love depictions of ancient warfare. There's just something about laying siege to an enemy city or defeating superior numbers with just one's wits that I find interesting. And the two examples I could give you of the exact depiction of warfare I'm referring to is HBO's Rome and the manga Kingdom. These two, especially Kingdom, give you that feeling of being transported to a battlefield. They show the power of imagination in full force. So what did my brain decide to do with these lessons? It took them into the game Plants vs. Zombies 1. Originally, this game was something I played every now and then when I was bored. But when I applied my imagination, it stopped being an okay mobile game and became my own personal battlefield. I stopped being a player and became a general who sought to rival and someday surpass the likes of Caesar and Oki. I overcame overwhelming odds when I locked in, and I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory when I got distracted. It's a feeling I get whenever I play this game. I can tell that I have to keep my eyes on all parts of the battlefield. It doesn't matter if my forces are winning in 4 out of 5 areas. All it takes is for one line to fall, for me to mess up in just one aspect of my formation, and the enemy wins. It can be overwhelming, but I won't despair. After all, when talking about being in charge of the lives of lots of people, no other game I've played gave me that experience like
Fallout Shelter.
In this game, you're the manager of an underground bunker called the Vault, set in the distant future. The game calls you a manager, but for all intents and purposes, you're basically a god. The dwellers may not perceive you, but your will determines their fates. Now, with such power at your disposal, save the power to control things that are not dwellers, you can basically do what you want, from determining who gets what jobs to determining who gets to procreate. Though there are restrictions to those powers. You can give a dweller a job, but you can't make them excel at it. You can make them the only man in a room. That doesn't mean they'll be able to score. The individual differences I noticed between each dweller is where my imagination came in. I started using my godlike powers to set situations in place to see what outcomes would be born. I had a lot of fun with my siblings with this game. We had mass evictions when we noticed we had given most jobs to certain families. We punished unproductive dwellers with the job of going beyond the vaults to hunt for resources, and we had dwellers whom we favored above all else. And whenever our vault would suffer attacks, whether from outside or by us deciding to make the game more interesting, we had dwellers whose lives we prioritized above all others. When I think about how I played this game, I think of a quote from George R.R. Martin. He said that there are 2 types of writers, builders and gardeners. The builders who already know what they want to do with the story, and the gardeners who let the stories grow as they tend to them. It's important to note that this is not a direct quote. GTA San Andreas is another game that gives the user a lot of freedom to use their imagination. It's an open world game. Obviously there are missions and those are fun, but I got the most enjoyment during the times I was just cruising around the town, getting into fights, or heading on one misadventure or the other. Unlike other games that are strictly story focused, San Andreas gave me the freedom to choose, and I definitely did. I had so many playthroughs where I spent hours letting my imagination run free. Once I got my hands on cheat codes, it was even better. My enjoyment was limited only to my imagination. I would liken it to realizing you're an end specialist from Hunter x Hunter. Whatever limitations you have are what you impose on yourself. After indulging myself, I obviously would return to the mission set by the game. But at least for me, the fun came from the fact I chose to return and I could meander off the fate set for CJ by the game anytime. Or perhaps, just maybe,
fate has absolutely nothing to do with it.
And the whole point of the game was for me to choose what I wanted to do all along. There's a certain freeing power that comes when you use your imagination, and no one uses theirs more than children. With it, they have the potential to be or make anything. It may sound like gibberish to you, but if the Holy Book said only those who become like children are able to enter heaven, then surely there has to be some merit to how they see the world. What I love about all of these games is that they give whoever participates in them the choice to use their imagination, to create their own story within the context of the game's world. It's liberating and empowering in a whole new way. And that's what I'm going to do with this channel. It's an avenue for me to create diverse stories, not limiting myself to a theme, structure, or genre, but rather creating whatever type of story I please.